We'll make sure people
Oh.
Normally you have it set up by the city.
Good, nothing broke. I got that call the other day. For the southeast corner of the farm. Well, I hope
That's not good when they start.
I said, everybody else does this. I want to make sure. Here it is. Hope that you can track it down there one now. I did. I know, I've done that.
Yeah, I'll figure it out, because I had asked.
Very rarely. Every guy. Yeah.
I got one place that they were something happened like this Thursday. They'll wait till Friday night at 6 o'clock.
I tell them, well, Monday morning I'll get to you. You waited this long, I'll wait till Monday.
That's how it works. I said, you don't feel that way. Why did you wait?
They're just beeping at you.
Okay, well, how do you get it? And the damn thing is, they just finally decided after 4 years of being there that, oh, they checked it. And it just. Oh, it had to be right away. Well, this is an emergency because we could have. Well,
Yeah.
Okay. Special tips with
I tell them, go to Walmart.
my time starts now.
Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for public comment. Let's start with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please limit your comments to 5 minutes, please.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. I'm Richard Art, 4th generation Tama County crop and livestock farmer. I'm speaking today on behalf of Tama County Against Turbines. And I got something I want to say before I say my 2 cents worth. I saw in Cedar Rapids paper, Gazette on Saturday, an article that talked about the government giving wind companies more petitions to allow them to kill more bald and golden eagles, to allow wind companies to remove nests too. What is this country doing? Why is green energy more important than the symbol of freedom? This is nuts for our country to suggest. Green energy is not worth it. Okay, that's my 2 cents worth. We are here today for the 24th straight week to call for updates to Tama County's minimal outdated commercial wind energy ordinance. Excuse me, to better protect public safety and highly protected farmland. Larry, last Monday, September 26th, you stated that you've already taken care of that when referring to the zoning board's request to enact a moratorium on any new or additional phases of the commercial wind energy ordinance to allow time to research and update the commercial wind energy ordinance. Let me refresh and correct your memory, Larry. You've never even voted on enacting a moratorium on any further permitting of industrial wind projects. In more examples of the games you are playing, you won't even put a moratorium on your agenda. The fact is, you've been dodging the public's repeated requests since April 25th, when we first asked you to enact a moratorium on any wind project permitting to allow time to research and update Tama County's minimal outdated commercial wind energy ordinance. You were incorrect when you stated that the zoning board's meeting on September 12th lacked a quorum. You were wrong. The zoning meeting did represent a quorum. In fact, the 3 members of the zoning board who voted unanimously for the county to enact a moratorium on any wind project permits constituted a quorum and a majority. Let's walk you through the math. There are only 4 members of the zoning board at this time. That's by your choice. One of those 4 zoning board members, Craig Sash of Earl Traer, has signed an easement for a wind turbine as part of the Salt Creek Wind Project. That makes him ineligible to engage in any discussion, decisions, or votes related to the commercial wind energy ordinance due to his conflict of interest as a wind easement holder. Craig Sash must recuse himself from receiving any information related to the commercial wind energy ordinance, any discussion related to it, or any decision on it, or land use regulations. 4 minus 1 equals 3. That leaves 3 members of the zoning commission who may consider recommendations to the county's land use regulations, including a moratorium on the commercial wind energy ordinance or any recommendation to update it. The 3 zoning board members who met and voted unanimously on September 12th to recommend a moratorium does in fact constitute a quorum. Your actions continue to contradict your words. Last week, you stated you were not going to fill the open seat on the zoning board until after the litigation against the county related to the county's handling of the wind energy conversion system ordinance and permitting of wind projects is resolved. So why did you reappoint Craig Sash to a second term on the zoning board on August 8th? And why did you appoint Kurt Kelly of rural Chelsea to the Board of Adjustment on August 8th? The lawsuit I filed against you as supervisors for your unlawful reapproval of the commercial wind ordinance May 16th without holding required public hearings or public notice was filed June 22nd. Your minutes of September 6th state that you will need to appoint someone to the zoning board following the resignation of Russell Peterson of Garland for the term that expires June 30th, 2024. So why did you decide last week that you won't appoint anyone to the zoning board until litigation is resolved? Is it because you had too many qualified female candidates and you don't want to appoint a woman? You should be ashamed of yourself for playing yet another deceptive game. As we've said since spring planting season, and as we repeat now in harvest season, let's talk. Our coalition remains committed to helping to update Tama County's land use regulations and commercial wind energy ordinance for better protect public safety and highly protected farmland. So let's talk. If you have nothing to hide and you're telling the truth, as elected officials, you can and should speak freely and openly in these public meetings to answer questions from the public. It is your duty and your obligation to represent the people who pay your salaries as Tama County taxpayers. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I will tell you in regard to that, if I had said there was not a quorum,
zoning board, I was definitely in error. I knew there was a quorum. Thank you.
Do you wanna respond about why you would appoint some and then now not?
There's, but we have your guys' word, it's gonna, you're not gonna put anyone in that position until litigation's over. You're not just gonna wait for the right person that you guys see fit, correct? Is that accurate?
We're gonna wait till after litigation's
That's the
over.
plan.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments?
I've got one. I wrote it down so I don't forget anything. And, I brought with me today a visual aid. It's a Tama County shopper, I'm sure everybody's probably seen this, with a front page, full front page ad for Salt Creek Wind. It's a picture of a child getting on the school bus. The wording says, benefiting the children of Tama County, and that the wind field will generate approximately $24.9 million in school district revenue. That's what the ad says. This sounds great. You know, we've already got one wind farm, we've got Vienna. And, what happened to this? What happened to the proceeds of Vienna? Did they help the children of Tama County? Last June, Larry told us that the proceeds were diverted by the supervisors to bridges, roads, and gravel expense. It improves the county infrastructure, I agree, but did this help the children? A spending plan was adopted by the supervisors, but the proposed income from Vienna was short. And the spending has been supplemented by hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 7 years with property tax proceeds. Presently, the Gladbrook School is closed, the children are being bused to Rhinebeck, and Gladbrook has lost a big part of its community. Could you please, explain to the taxpayers of Tama County how the proceeds from Vienna are being spent and your plans for spending the proposed income from the Salt Creek Wind project? I wrote this entirely on my own, so if it's not completely correct, feel free to correct me. Do you have anything to say? To explain this to me?
Well, the time we tipped that area for the roads, at that same time, the state was backfilling the potential loss of that increment. So, yes, in fact, the schools were getting that. I think GMG and GR, right?
Yep.
That was the two districts, cause that was closest to the Vienna farm.
What happened to Gladbrook, or?
Well, I think what happened to Gladbrook, truthfully, and you can ask any of the board members on that school board, it had nothing to do with money, it had more to do with population. There just wasn't enough kids in that area anymore. This, not my opinion, that was the opinion of the school board. They couldn't afford to keep it open. They don't have the numbers, don't want the numbers. I'm just saying, that's what they said.
What's your proposal for the Salt Creek income?
Yeah, we even talked about it.
Okay.
And if we don't, then it's gonna be split up like any other tax would be.
Is it, but you've already voted, right? Is it currently TIF'd or is it currently going to the communities in the area? Like, I think
Like the
already-
fire department, the police department, the community. This is what the wind turbine companies are saying will be done with it, but
Yeah,
they don't have the last say, you do.
yeah, well, I just said, we have no idea. At this point, we've never talked about what to do with the increase in, revenue because of the increase in value of the wind farm.
Okay.
I have a couple of comments. A couple of weeks ago, when this area here was set up with the conifer team, we were very disappointed that we did not have any time to educate those people. I mean, there were a couple people that got to speak. Carolyn did a very fine job, and there was a couple of others, but they were here, captive audience. They don't wanna know the bad stuff. They don't wanna know that they just signed their farms away for 50 years to China. They don't wanna know any of that, but yet they were right here, and we could have at least told them, at least put it out there, so that at least they could have pondered it for the rest of their lives, and maybe understood a little bit better what they actually signed, but we were not given the time, we didn't have the time. We know that that was intentional, we know that we were, unable to give them any education, and yet it was such a vital moment, and those guys, now we've lost the opportunity, and it's really sad. We are supposed to occupy this earth while we're here, and until the Lord comes back, and that's what we're doing week after week after week. However, water attracts water, and, you know, our current governments since 2008 have been instrumental in drying up everything. I mean, they get rid of the creeks, they tile out all this, they put all this black toxic crap underground everywhere. They've dried up all the land, they've straightened the rivers, and they've straightened everything else, and water attracts water, so now there isn't any to attract water. Now, I know that south of Tama, you guys have had a little bit more rain, so you got some good crops. But boy, there's a huge chunk of Iowa and going west that doesn't have water. When you guys would get a half, we'd get maybe a tenth. When north of Marshtown would get 4 inches, we'd maybe get 3/10. And that's the way it's been all summer long. So now we're gonna have a fuel and food crisis in this country. And we're sending all of our fuel and food out of this country. It's totally senseless. So, since water attracts water, I don't know what we're gonna do, because we just continue to dry ourselves out and be our own worst enemies. I think since people who want to know already do know, and the ones that don't want to know anything, plan to go live somewhere else where there is water, I think it would be really, I know one of our retired teachers moved to Arizona. He said there are so many empty, beautiful, expensive homes for sale there now that he's gone there. Because those people don't have water, they're leaving. And those are huge, gated retirement communities. So we're now at the point where we wish that you guys would, while you still have the opportunity, approve ordinances, so that you don't regret not approving ordinances, because anything could happen in this country. It's going to happen in this country. It's a time right now for us to be praying for the people that we care about and love, even if we don't like them. It's time to pray for them, because we're in a bad way, and we are doing a lot of stupid threatening around the globe that's not gonna be good for us. So, 2 things. Everybody in this room should be praying for the people that they love. And secondly, everybody in this room would love it to have some sort of ordinances in place. Okay, so maybe China's gonna come in here and they're not gonna pay any attention to anything on paper. They probably won't. But at least you guys would have done your job. And at least we would have tried and gotten something. Thank you. And by the way, thank you for being here every single week, you 3 guys. It's not that we don't appreciate you. I know you guys love Tama County. This thing is just so huge. It's just so global. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Got about 10 more minutes, 10 total minutes.
I've got a comment. I'm Laura Wilson, I live in Dyser. This was kind of in response to last week when we heard about your contract quote for upgrading the speakers. So in the span of 2 hours yesterday, I was able to find multiple speaker microphone set options on Amazon ranging between $150 and $400. Most of those sets come with 1 to 2 microphones, and additional microphones can be purchased for ranging between $30 to $50. Basic Android or Fire tablets can be purchased for less than $100, and I found a 2021 10.2-inch iPad for less than $300. Additional stand to hold it would be under $30, and that type of tablet could be used to video, kind of like the Tama County Against Turbines group has been doing. And then it could be posted for free to a YouTube account, like the group has been doing, and then you could link that video to the county website. without changing the infrastructure of your website. So that is how the Tama County Against Turbines group has currently been sharing videos, uploading it to the free YouTube account, and then linking it. We link it to Facebook, you guys could link it to the Tama County page. And then that could be a quick way to start videotaping without the outside group doing it. And then once the already planned update to the broadband is completed, the video process could be switched to live video, and then the uploading and archiving could still be done on the YouTube channel that would already be set up. So the total for bare minimum of the items I was able to find would be as low as less than $400. And if you go with higher options or additional parts, it could still keep the price tag under $1,000. That would include microphones, speakers, a video device, and a stand to hold it. So those items could be set up in this existing space of the meeting room without requiring rewiring of the ceilings, floors, or walls, and leaving any unnecessary construction from adding to the cost. When the people of Tama County Against Turbines group requested the upgrades to audio and video options, it was not our intention to require over-the-top renovations for the county. These simple devices available for purchase could be quickly and easily purchased and installed so that people can hear and view what is happening in these public meetings. Do you know what the next steps would be to move forward with that type of affordable purchase? Would we need to create a official quote to submit to the county, or is that something your IT or maintenance group could move forward with on their own without requiring a quote if it didn't involve construction?
We'll have to talk to the IT people. I think they're working on it, aren't they, Tammy?
And then, when I was searching, I just searched, search words speaker and microphone set, tablet and iPad, so it was pretty straightforward search.
All right, thank you.
No, we really wouldn't need a fancy $10,000 setup that connects all of the buildings, administration offices, and everything else. We're just talking about this room.
Okay.
I mean, just something very simple to get started with. I mean, the engineer's office doesn't need you to be able to hear what's going on here with fancy internet devices. It can be very simple, very inexpensive. Just a thought.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? All right, well, thank you all for your comments today. Last chance, Jim, you got anything else you wanna say?
I'll pick up something for next week.
Do that, please. Jim always picks on me and gives me heck for not giving him time to talk, so.
Yeah, if you talk twice, you mean you have 2 5-minute intervals.
And I use up my 5 minutes. Well, I appreciate you asking me if I had more to add.
Don't wanna shortchange you.
Well, we hope that next week you will say that you're ready to allow ordinances to be worked on based on what the other counties are doing. You know, those don't stop the turbines and solar farms. They just regulate them so that they have to behave. I mean, everybody in this county has to follow rules and laws, or we get fined and maybe imprisonment. So it seems to me that a big companies coming in that have no roots anywhere in this country, they're not accountable to anybody in this country. It seems to me that making rules for them would be like on the top of your list 6 months ago, or maybe even longer ago, since you guys have known about this for a while. Not clear at the bottom of the list. I mean, none of us are allowed to just go do what we wanna do in this county and infringe on everybody else's, rights and ownership and land and houses, and it's unbelievable that you're dragging your feet on this. And I don't care who's telling you what to do, I don't care. The way this country is right now, I just really wanna do the right thing before something else happens. Because there's gonna be a day where we're not gonna have any freedom, so it'd be nice to have something in place. At least then we can say, well, they're breaking the law. Right now, there is no law. They aren't gonna break any law, because there is no law for them. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I was surprised, this morning on the news, they said that Cedar Rapids, come up with something. Cedar Rapids,
You know what,
put a
somehow I
one-
thought you might.
Cedar Rapids put a 1-year moratorium on the solar field that they're planning to put up, so they can discuss all this and, upgrade any ordinances that need to be upgraded and look at everything, and, that was big news this morning on TV.
Well, the other thing would be is if there was a moratorium in place even for a year, that gives them a chance to actually take over the United States, and then a moratorium's not gonna matter anyhow, and you guys will have done your job and done the right thing.
All kinds of ways to let it face.
I'm sorry, but listen to the news, Jack, it's not good.
No, it's not, there's a lot of horrible things going on in the world.
There really
Somebody
are.
mentioned, I don't know if Richard was here, comments or not, about the shortfall we had to
Yes,
backfill it.
yes.
And the reason for that wasn't because of our miscalculation. It was because the state of Iowa changed the rules in the middle of the game and we'd already bonded. That's why there was they gave another year wasn't that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we were playing the game with the rules that we thought was right, but in a year. And no use talking to our senator representative, we did,
Now we talked to them, got nowhere.
but we kind of criticized him at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanna follow up on what I talked about, the Eagles and the government. You know, I read that article and I said to myself, if I went out and shot a bald eagle,
Yeah.
what kind of trouble would I be in?
Big trouble.
And then I'm saying the government's willing to allow wind companies, they give them petition, I guess they already do it. And say you have the right, if you don't kill any more than X amount of bald eagles or golden eagles, you're okay. So they're gonna increase that. And I'm saying, if I went out there and shot the bald eagle that's flying around my place, Dennis Goodshare would be on my place real quick. And it just goes against me, so.
There's a matter last week from Jim, though, that them animals don't go around windmills.
That's right, yeah,
That'll be a problem.
Yeah, either they've already tried to fly
I was
through and
gonna
they're
say,
dead, or
yeah.
they.
They'll try.
But I think wildlife is pretty important to have in this county, and,
So are cow herds.
yeah, the cow-calf operations, calves gotta drink that milk too. Not just, dairy farms producing milk.
Which we only have one left, a little trivia here, but one dairy farm left in the county. And it used to be about every other one.
Where's that at?
East of Dinsdale, 2 miles.
Okay.
And that's all they do. I mean, they got 40 acres
Oh,
and milk cows.
oh, really?
Well, you guys are gonna be drinking goat milk then, because they're on the increase. Yum.
I tried
Not
that
bad,
one.
it's not bad.
I tried that one. I didn't hear much for it.
Our youngest son is really allergic to all kinds of things. And that's the only thing that after my wife could find for him to drink, was goat's milk.
Yeah.
She said, "You wanna try this?" And I tasted it. Tastes just like grass. I said, "No, I'll pass on that."
It's like coffee, you acquire the taste.
You must have to. But he did very well. He's about a foot taller than I am, but not quite as big around. He's not as old, so.
That's good to know that he's not as old as you are.
That's a good thing. There are a lot of goats in
Pardon me?
you still have quite a few goats out at your place, don't you?
No, we switched to sheep after the tornado.
Oh, really?
Buildings got destroyed, yeah.
What was the reason for that?
Because the goat buildings got destroyed, so we had to pick.
Oh, I
The
see.
ratio?
Yeah, well, whatever, the 5 funnel clouds that nobody calls a tornado. That came through here. We
I don't know
had
if you,
didn't have enough room for both.
I see.
I don't know if you have a subscription or ever seen our Iowa magazine, but there's a section in there where there's a Amish lady that
Yep.
writes a week's happenings in their lives. And that particular one over by Edgewood, they're milking about 90 goats. And so I don't have any idea how many goats they got around there because because there's some time when they're kidding, they're gonna be at least 90 more, if not double that, triple that. But she did want to say that kids don't like it, so we do have a cow.